for ebenya de akwakodi ho anaase edin ene wo nanso eni ho ehye nipa da hyane ebetu akwawiem ene onyankropon akwatra democracy eyema bibifo anaase enyema yen kwasi broni tim popa ene sentia wode vaccination eba abibiman mu na family plan so mpo no ehye ben ana kwasi broni hye ye ewo krom enti a wode etoa yen eba ne sen ana gay ati atese ewo wiase afana nyinara ene we se illuminati ene we se freemason ene we se sumwe mu ni nyinara ahyase firi he no broni tim po a wode sa nyema we nyinara eba no de atoa abibiman mu no ene sen we entram se hwe wake up Africa kwasi da we ni kwasi da bia awia dumienu ekopem awia no mienu live on Royal TV eye dwumadi a ofa poku danko ye executive director edema freedom mind movement ene ofa Israel Nkrumah a eye coordinator edema freedom mind movement no ebeka me yaw odami kodua ho na yesim konua no madi dwumadi ho chiame na ensem bi atise no ye gina twe kronkron so abakosem ene ntwere ahodo so na ede mo hu ba bia obibini ufiri enu mu a edro ene soma a wosombo na mabrofo sisi ache ebra so se call together twene kaye no etumi bam ne no ana hyase o freedom mind movement dwumadi e friend say wake up Africa dwumadi so praso say ye fa dwumadi live on Royal TV so kwase da we ni kwase da bia awia dumienu kopim no mienu na ya jo so adwenche na wasemmisa ye ano e de ma wake up Africa abibiman moma yen sore.
Wow, empenifo se nya wo tem ha a wo pass ase de wo de wani che Israel consulta ya de a wo mo be sorto a se ne be ya enkran ha de ensase a wo pe nyina no Israel consult e na obetimi edi wani ache enye no nko e ba ne books ahoduo bi a wo pese ye Bible se ye bibia book bi a wo pe bia no wo de wani che Israel consult nso a ombetimi asorto out and ye books ahoduo nyina no na wo dim se wake up Africa dwumedi no kura no books ahoduo mu yusu nyina Israel consult and I will bet me a free ane Shannon so and yet no Israel consult as young Pacofa a quantum pendant at the aba, Sa quantum pendant eba bebo, and the one we dreamer if you did Jumemuno, and the wood at ye two come a babo, and a bear, Sa radiation intimate and Nipediano, and using our Pacofa a sa quantum pendant at the aba, eba bebo hopine at the free radiation. See, I can radiation as any day, wouldn't say was young Pacofa a radiation protector at the aba, also who use phone essence phone no radiation e wo mu pini ntino also wo kofa radiation protector e de telephone e chia e ba bebo also na be ya radiation entimi enko ni pedi na enko kofa ohawo embrel saa na Israel consult akwa kofa e 8B tester e dia ba also wo so wo hia no enu ntini ensu a wo benom no also body ha test hwe na hwe se e ye kroji anase enye kroji enu ntina wa body ha kofa e 8B tester ya ba enu so e ba bebo na ji akejire se na be ya yensu no de ebetimi akotote saa na Israel consult de wase akwa eye Victor's foot patch e dia ba eno so e ba beboa o se esanse ye mogya no edi efurusane na ni nyina nso e wo ye na asinti no wakwa eye Victor's foot patch ya ba eno no tale wo na ase a etimi mogya ni di efurusane e wo woni pedue no se na be ya wo nso ubetimi edi mu yie eno nti e na mekanfo eye Israel consult e de ama na enye no nko awo wase akwa eye quantum beauty spray ediaba sa quantum beauty spray de eye dutwe mukra esanse eno ne de eye nsuo kekeo ene edi egu sa quantum mu eno nti no obobode a utumi enumbi utumi display wo shoe utumi e display wonum ene wa empono enum kankan ewo wonum u display mu a ebetenete sa quantum beauty spray eye niema bebre woduane mpo na ase na wo be spray bi egusu a ebetimi atie aduane no wan ema wotimi edi ema na yeye me kana mejaden utumi display woni kosua no so emma wo woni no edda ho clear saranso na etimi mamoje die furusani ewo woni ni mu enu nti no wakwa akofa eye quantum beauty spray adiaba enu so eje akagine mu hyene so se o se mu so amu ohaw ewo bani hu no wakwa akofa eye spectacle adiaba enu so eba bebo se na be ya woni no ebetimi ejina ne naso na eye mu amu wo glaucoma nyina no eye spectacle etimi aboa na eyi sa glaucoma efi bani no so enu nti se wo panyema amabbo su nyina eye Israel consult pe na wo benye bi ato Israel consult de oma ba na ebi mai enu ti from e wa homa trofo iso 02077828482 and I say 0244686557 Israel consult ebi mai yenso ye di ni
Aya, ate vomisi onfreye asiyemra. Ozo Roofing Company, the number 1 roofing company in Ghana. And it is a person who bought dinosaur. And also for a wisi dana person boss one. For what is saying I could die also roofing. Say your estimate and more futuno. Obeying in Amawa on use Kabia. That's what you must also roofing, sir. When a basa harasso na Jumanus Ucha is our hero tausa. What the board Sumawa. And then we renew our Alonso self locker. And also the good dinosaur. And Madania fair. Our aluminium self locker. And also the good dinosaur. Yopo. So person and a good dinosaur. And now say a belfo. A aluminium trussel CB. And a person the good dinosaur. Uni wow cry. Was the roof in the can yopo at the amount. Or standing seam. Or step tile sheet. Or shingles and IBR. Or calabonda. Nina madansobo AFM. The Danifasu and Yamudipa. And then when you papa me they have branches all over the 16 regions in Ghana. No, we are Jumapo beyond the borders of Ghana. And in Timinia, for also roofing was 0249 647 748 and 0205 053 365. Also roofing, number 1 roofing company in Ghana. Also roofing, Maba Amadansobo Aya Kono.
Sharon. Rowakwa de oba na yemye Herbal Center. Na yemye Herbal Center ewo Kumasi Ejuso ntombe nechi hwa na yemye Herbal Center wo. Na yemye Herbal Center ejumedi a yedie ne se yehwe ntini mu. Yeboa woni pentini mentini nyankwa. Intini a eni nkwa ene yeboa sa ntini no. Bi ti se bema ne bema ewuo ayekojoto. Oba na yemye Herbal Center. Obema no so ahodin nim eye dwuma enche na esi ni trase oba na yebe Herbal Center yetumi buawo ma bema ni gya ne naso emma abasobo bi e wose ye de ma wo bema no obema no so etumi nya sa abasobo de no na efiri ho kono na yebe Herbal Center eboa hwe woni pantini mu ade bi aye cholesterol fat esisi wu ntini mu kwan ama ntini ntumi nya dwuma sa ne ye no oba na yebe Herbal Center yetumi buawo e wo sa kwan no so ma wunduro na ye ha ye dwuma ye di nyina no eye pure organic orthodox medicine bi enim eye natural eduma ne ye nti na yemye Herbal Center kofa herbal things sonko e de aba sa thing wewu ya eboa wo huru wuntini mu eye wuntini mu oduma nyina oba woni atenka oba na yemye Herbal Center ye boa wo oba okosinanim kakra bi na wotietim na tenka wo fom oba na yemye Herbal Center ye boa sa kwan ni so nyina ma wonya fa ahode na yemye Herbal Center ye chire kwan ewo Kumasi Ejuso ahemfie no nti wo hwehwe ya abra ho sela
Wolala, na minim se eba na slippers papa anase empono entale papa na obutentin bi wagana ye friend Mike A collection ane Mike A collection esan se ne niama ye papa ntino ono de ne niama no wo free Canada, London, Germany and afi China enu ntino eye papa enu ntino se wo pe slippers etu akoton me kanfo eye Mike A collection e de ama slippers no se eye mba anase mbema de anase empono enkolas de wo be sort out Mike A collection ene ese wudi weniche na enye no nko awu say ye enkwala totofe wa entale akwala wa wona nye wo patale atamana me kanfo Mike A collection e de ama sanso na wo mu nri say ye mpenifo anase empun enkokra ntale nyina ubenye bi e wo Mike A collection say men kan kire say empono say wo all the 16 regions in Ghana wo pese wo to atale ni bi enu anase wo be from keke no mbe child delivery no wo beti weni no na watale na anase wo slippers na wo beside na da wa bobo ano enu nti me kanfo Mike A collection e de ama omunyama ne ye papa enu nti me say ye ma na say embema ntale anase slippers de fa oni kire Mike A collection say wo pe ne dudu etu anase wo pe ne mako wo de weni kire ma so ye a wo mbe sort out enu nti from e wa homatrofo so 0542 895 675 anase 0277 160 768 anase 050 464 3052 Mike A collection slippers papa and afi entale papa and last stop anyhow
Amuna oba ye krum se oba betray yamesu eche no to nipa eche no di asase akwanu mana bi asami
Abusia me ma kwa ba biom ende ye kwesiada
wa wani tia say edu sambre na dwumedi a eye number 1 show wo Ghana eye Wake Up Africa na ye de besomo ende say ende ye kosia day a ende ye 1st January 2023 na echese ye de continuous series na no ebe brew dwumedi say na unina no ye be twaso e de amount eye Heavenly Signs ye do part 14 na ye ba be twaso na ye de asomo say na mbrebi o ka say ye che na mpelifo say bibi delay a na che say bibi papa na eba wa kwemu na bebi ayadu ni efa we be hu say ebia o pese wo join yen sections and I say yen other network na utuminya information we ekoso YouTube and also say Facebook app obetumi akọ straight to your YouTube section and I say Facebook platform no so na wako search Wake Up Africa GH Sasu na uko YouTuber Wake Up Africa GH. Sasu do YouTube na o subscribe na o subscribe because sisi ane your 4.83k. Ya be say hit 1 million k. You be say obetumi aye. Is say program when je ho. Is say person did the best information amount. Say a top na osaka Facebook Wake Up Africa GH Facebook. Hona osa beka sa late upload friends videos ni nyina bi na wasaka na osu wetumi atwebi na wafre obetumi aka program yo our live our TV so aye ka say obetumi aka ho bi na wetumi a text messages WhatsApp 05046430052 saso na normal SMS 05046430052 obetumi a WhatsApp na wa text normal na yetumi a read message saso na YouTube and Facebook na so obetumi streaming live as you say ka say obekọ na we streaming live send be ya oso obetumi asene message ato ene mebo modi an say making kan ni nyina ama fefefe send be ya enkoye te say mayimani ama o messages enye sa empenifo ye no di dwumedi kwesiere bia ofopoku danka ofopoku dankwa mfa ncheme wofa opoku dankwa oye the Free the Mind executive director saso na Israel Nkrumah the national coordinator and so oma be kan sa and edi dwumedi eba be somo sene yete and I said sene ye hwehwe no me and me di dwumedi emu cha me fe me Michael Asma and me tire mu sene be ya de ope bia ne de ohwehwe bia no me de be ma o sene ohwehwe dwumedi e se de be boro a ndwumako bi ne so ya se mebebo mo so menka de omoye na mo wahu de omoye bia mebebo so sene be ya obetumi akontact wo na osa aka omo nyama ne bi na odi aye wo ho Israel Consort sene kan no obetumi afre Israel Consort wo normal 0244686557 and I say 02077824882 ufre Israel Consulta de ohu bia no or the best sort out saso na Ozon's Roofing almost omu dealing quality roofings and roofings bia ohwehwe bia no o me crowd so me bro omu the 16 regions in Ghana be bia omu ho ofro mo a omu de bro obetumi afro mo 0249647748 0249647748 and I say 020505365 ofre Ozon's Roofing omu de roofing bia ohwehwe bia no omu de bro saso na yam ye Herbal Center almost omu dealing other sicknesses are very severe ebi menstrual pain prostate disorder and sexual weakness hypertension sciatic problems omu dealing in that from one ometumi from 054678 101 054678 from one there will be ano ono meka na oma sort out saso na Nico Multimedia e ka say Nico Multimedia the one number 1 multimedia company and I say institution omo omutumi bua ema omo cover documentaries photoshots editing weddings any the ekeka ho me tell say obetumi afre Nico Multimedia ewo 0244549107 0244549107 ofro mo a omeba intentem omo koforidia sasna Mike A collections omo dealing in quality second-hand clothing and African West bia ohwehwe bia African slippers African clothing bia and even bills aboche bills ya ye kan wasemia ometimi no adili entempana from a omno be delay nice obetimi from 0542895675 sasna obetimi from 0504643052 obetimi asas from 0277160768 from a baby omo bia no o deliver o item na mo baby edu bra semi company for na and edi dwumedi no ehase na sere me kan ya no me say and then dwumadie no ɛyɛ the 14th episode and I said the part 14 of the heavenly sign and then ɛna sɛ nyame yɛ adom a yɛbɛtumi de heavenly signs nkɔmmɔdie no nyinaa abɛwieɛ sɛ mekyerɛ sɛ nyame yɛ adom a yɛbɛtumi de abɛwieɛ na yɛde next one ato a ɛhɔ ɛna wobɛhu sɛ nsɛm bi ɛwɔ baabi yɛgya wo kɔɔ yɛ no anaasɛ yɛbreki kakra no ɛnyɛ sɛ ebia na yɛgye mu nnipa bi a yɛyɛ adwuma a yɛbrɛ nti ɔ sɛ yɛhome na yɛhome na sɛ na ɛbɛyɛ ahoɔden foforɔ na asɛ bɛhyia wo enti sɛ na ɛbɛyɛ a ɛnɛ dwumadie no yɛbɛkɔ so na w'ani bɛgye sɛ yɛaba live yɛne woba bɛdi dwumadie anaasɛ yɛbɛma woahu no korɛ no ma menkɔ mpanimfoɔ na introduce wɔ mo sɛ na ɛbɛyɛ a ɛnɛ dwumadie no ɛbɛkɔ so mekɔ wɔfa Israel na introduce no na makɔ wɔfa hɔ sɛ na ɛbɛyɛ a ɛnɛ dwumadie no ɛbɛyɛ fɛ wɔfa Israel me maakɔ aba ɛbɛ ɛnɛ dwumadie so apɔ mu mede ase sɛ ndɛ so yɛasɛ ahyia biam okay ɔfa apɔ mu bɔkɔ bibia bɔkɔ deɛ
ɔsɛ wahwɛ
a okay
hu na mehu wakyɛ
me deɛ mewɔ hɔ na mehu wakyɛ no nso mewɔ hɔ
kasa deɛ ne yɛ kasa
kasa deɛ kasa mewɔ hɔ
sɛ mehu kakra no mahu wo smartness na mehu
okay fa so we dia e dey ba fa we mfam tew na me san so okay on the 7th of January 2023 class you can say class freedom mind movement share class emma obia wire crowd ne reps ne members say opa mpese mu bie wani efa geopolitical issue Bible revelations ne de keka ho fact and basis on figures what Bible was say who ne scripture and as I say nyama obo ade e ka no Bible mu a e hitasem no freedom mind movement etu agina ho say Omema Watinyama say on the 7th of January 2023 coming Saturday class never be coso first class are coso second class are coso we a third class are ever be coso enti say we a member and I say o person who no credit emre ni o say wo ba na obehu no kure se ne be ya obi ede intro be dada when we said no you have also learned the truth and to be able to also discuss what exactly the truth is enti ene make us on the 70 and I say on the 7th no or say we crowd so ba na be the class no Kaukudi 37 military hospital achieve ho na obeba na watnase na nhihye bia wo bia no na ye no watnase na no aka say be ya wo su be den wo be massive because asofo eba fa ho boko eba ginimdie ekọ kire mo memes enti wo tena ho wo ye den bra na besua ade because obo ade onfa obia keke ofo omo nimdie leading ne man enti obetumi aba obetumi afre 05046 0504643 0504643 052 sorry 05046 43052 ofra esihye bia wo hu bia no ye de be ma na directions ye de amo eti me sanko fa obiem na de wo ho no ene naka ofa Michael oma me bre na metumi aye sade kakra
that's ne di ka be chi ahwefo
okay
ya frem seni amosoma free
yo
na seni o kan ye ko break na ene ne resume ye your last time we share ye no the year 13th no
yeah
13th edition no
yeah
now about two images the Genesis image and the Revelation image any the wie e ko hwehwe videos bi ni ne ma bi e wie and then we do 6th trumpet na 6th trumpet no and also need the last of the heavenly signs it is any audi kan no so obo ade ye adomo a e betimi awie ne senia the next time we be say shiano na call the day of the Lord obo ade abufu show enema ebubo so heavenly signs enema ye ya enso ani ni ayi nyina no the judgment no pass ye no afi ni e ba be ko e ho so ni akwa akore enti ene no say 6 trumpet ni e wo so bia Bible reading no a ye be ye no Revelation 9
Revelation chapter 9
verses 13 14 15 and 16
okay so now for Revelation chapter 9 verses 13 15 and
13 to 16
yeah
okay
simple.
Revelation chapter 9
okay
verses 13 to 16.
Revelation chapter 9, verses 13 to 16. Okay. Revelation chapter 9, verses 13 to 16. And the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the fourth horns of the golden altar, which is before God, saying to the sixth angel, which had the trumpet, loose the fourth angel, which are bound in the great river Euphrates. 15. And the fourth angel were loosed, which were prepared for an hour, and a day, and a month, and a year, for a slay the third part of men. 16. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them.
86 trumpet, you know. Say angels 4 be I bound to woman here release you. Woman do one say woman there baby share ama army beer a very massive. If we free the Orient, you can Orient. We're talking about the Far East.
Okay.
And I say you can about Asia. Into one more roller, one more play in the end times. I say they are going to raise an army of 200 million men. It is almost so they are back. Maybe I say now then as Amri, you can't ekun. Eba, as I say, ba. If you say, so bad ya hini ba. Enti me ma me kwa nkofo aye ye tuo ne ma ye de besa ne ma enti atu a ya ye wo wiase nyina no samre eni ye betu ni nyina ma ni nyina sa ansa no bo ade ahenie ebeba aba emra no na kon ni ne keka ho nyina efiri asase so enti se tuo no hyehin se hyehin esi edini nyina aba ne ebeto someone am here mo ba mbro na de besi no ensi enti sa 200 million man army no ye hwe efomu a ye hu say Russia ne China alliance wo mu ene be lead ama sa ni padom ya ana say asraf wo yeti ama wo mu aba na omo so aba bidi dwuma inkomshen pese wo mudi na nya Russia ne China nko it is Russia for ye bedu ho wo mu de wo mu wo demographic crisis wo mu ni enipa semia ye kan no e na eduru mrebi ye be bako na wo mu governors no ba akukura yi da bi si ho se saada no bia enko aduma.
Okay.
Awari bo nyina hye dem ne nka puntum wo mu ni odo sania e be boost bet e be ba ho.
Okay.
Documents ni nyina ho.
Okay.
E rom de e ba demographic enema no a omo crisis.
Okay.
But China, India, any woman can count. So they already almost 1 billion population. They say India about beside China. And in 200 million man army there, ni raising anything.
Okay.
Now, no, scriptures now can say. So to me, yes, I know. One more Bible not to didn't say these are the kings of the east.
Okay.
Almost so eba. So already no you do kind the sane the starting programming. You can the king of the south.
Yeah.
The king of the north.
Yeah.
And the kings of the east.
Okay.
And you know you hear omu nyina say ne dey be kra no obi a taking position.
Okay.
Omo mu key players ni nyina no omu nyina take your position.
Okay.
And you know yeah hwe no ne hwe na ade ba ko a abani say 20th century and so na about 21st century.
Yeah.
And awakening bi akoso wo Asia ho ama Asia bo hu say ene no western civilization mu ni tumi we so bi ene me bi a wo mu ye your statement may we are who say they have come of age. A different seven America. Yenika Nyanko Second World War.
Okay.
Hitler started in 1939. A Koba say, Chichi, at HCC. Now America for First World War, Second World War, one foreign policy, no one's only isolationists. Yendi bi asem abonti asem fa ho
okay
saa wo ye First World War nti akire na German Jews wo ko kan wo mu ema wo mu so ye de on be de America fo be mu nti enema America fo ba mu First World War se nkomba be no antimi antintam especially tom wo mu so de say Colonel Mandel House wo de ba said League of Nations. American Kako share no chinen ko media control wiase no American Senate bogu and you almost have free Paris echo back to America no my basa kakra no me say oh you be say another opportunity now this time me men say and you almost ko start planning say in an event say another world war be bad you be hihye ne ma nyina ye na hihye ndi wi a ekon no nkwa wie no America be dominant world power.
Okay.
Almighty committees are you winning every. Until Hitler started in 1939, no, akasa ombebe mu because mo de mo policy ni ye do asem. Ndi ene ma cost nto mu. Nti no ma basa say ah. Na entokwe be de ni akum. Ye siesie ho, ye ga kwa akum nko ade be dominate. Ye nya akwan ye be den. Omo ha no mo ti say Japan one military no and are taking power because democratic government no like in Europe no one great depression by into no ama mo lusu ama military Hitler sorry with Germany any one so mke kan sorry Franco ono so sorry with Italy ni ne ke kan the fascist regimes no and a preja and one de ekon ababe tare inipa Edina America person obe mu so onye finti o ti say China so aso China Japan aso Japan take over na me won so asisa on foreign policy won so mo expand Japan and won kwa attack China ubeje di say Japan for di China so da say dan so mo di won so da
sa
ene mo di ye China for no ebe onwa enti na President Roosevelt America can say opportunity na ban yanko de ko hu na Japan for say one month we Rome Berlin as the say Italy ni Germany almost allies almost kutia Britain France ni others Russia no enzino one no alliance ni Rome Berlin axis Japan for akwa kan wo na America for that Stimson ono ene lead embargo no ema President Roosevelt nso be say mo access ne mo niema wa America ni na nso e de sabetu so senia o mbeye na o ma hye Japan for abufu na wo mo abatu twede kane na o manya kwan aba ntokwa no nti o mde mu tata cha we mu ekodu ba bi mo breaki intelligence code Japan high intelligence code ehun say omo so ayo omo adwen say samo tete yan yeso be ba be bombo Pearl Harbor no island bi e Hawaii harbor bi e Hawaii America for so akodi a ho no omo so troops no etiti naval base bi a ho no omo so de hwe omo nema say na Japan for yetiti omo sa no omo so yes we be the America mo nya hint say Japan for so be kwa attack Pearl Harbor no say men do ye pe evidence it won mo call line up more ships ni ma say be so mo be say no ni so nya kwan ni be mu no mo ye ya na true Japan for ko TC Pearl Harbor so ni tin omo say ni ma ye be hwidi nyina ntia ko ba sa no Adiachi that was 7th December 1941. Adiachi na President Roosevelt meeting Congress. Oh, can't say Japan boy, and yam she again and by ya. My say, so my idea, and you will be declare war on you. And it just say, and also come by. And that just say, America for any kind about World War. Japan for a dead mama, more to me about the kind, yeah, Jabum. Within a short period, oh, now they are getting gum. Germany, nay, one more allies, you know, and then they take a home now. And when a course, and the course of now opportunity now. One more launch here, and you did first picture. Okay. One more launch attack, you know. Ships, no, American ships, no, back in the that we are maybe 10 years on the Pearl Harbor, no, South Picture, now America for ship back on the US ship, your friend in West Virginia, and there be a book where they tell my Japan for hitting a best into flames, no, and the announcing the kind, the actual first picture. Okay. I compare video.
Your first picture, and the Jumedi Ebeshe, the USS West Virginia in flames at Pearl Harbor. And then first picture, Yebeshe. Na Yadia confirm me, Yamatisa Ayakradwa in Entosumai. Over.
And so you heard we are that the first video.
Okay. Okay. Patch that's
and that's when idea. Time we are Pearl Harbor, Japan for Bombo, you know, near the US ship way, West Virginia, and near the Vetuso, no, we are who send ya Japan for a young cover video. Okay,
you better video Nankasa video near Japan, Japanese surprise attack on naval base at Pearl Harbor.
When you know, the child say statement, how many years say, Titano number D, so China for Bekaya. Waiting for the opium. For so opium. Yeah. Send home to be now or muti. Yeah. And then I'm saying in the action. Any be. Japan for it is surprise on the mom. I don't know. Okay, say I crowd and factor Jeremiah. Why? Okay.
November 26th, 1941. North of Japan's Kuril Islands, a huge Japanese fleet sets off on a secret mission across the Pacific. Thousands of miles away, at the US naval base at Pearl Harbor on Hawaii, all is peaceful. Much of the US Pacific Fleet is in port. Under total radio silence, 6 Japanese aircraft carriers and over a dozen smaller warships are heading south on a collision course with destiny. 11 days later, the fleet is within striking distance of Hawaii. Pearl Harbor, American troops are waking up to another beautiful day. Aboard the Japanese carriers, there's a last-minute briefing. And a wave of over 180 warplanes takes off. An hour later, they're over Pearl Harbor. Five US warships are hit almost immediately. Within an hour, 2 US battleships are sinking, 2 capsize, and 2 more are badly damaged. US aircraft lined up on the island's airstrips are also hit. As news of the attack spreads across America, there's shock and horror. But there is also a question. Why has America been caught napping?
Abusia kasamfodi a wohwe na kyerɛ sɛ kwan a Japan etumi surprise US ɛwɔ special attack a ɔmo tumi bombo ɔmo a wahu sɛ attack no tana ɔfa waka no ɔmo di opium adada ɔmo saa ɔmo so mafa kwan bi so etumi attack ɔmo in a naval base section sisi a wohwe a America for ɔmo sɔre ɔmo say in a new day ɔmo nim hwe na zo sana Japan for prepare special attack ɛna ɛkɔma ɔmo buya ama yɛsi Japan so etumi control da nti sɛ na wɔfa ka yɛ bɛkɔ mu deep na ehu kwan ɔmo fa so control nti wɔfa the book bi ama no ha sɛ menkan a surprise attack bi ɔ sɛ yɛhwɛ ho kasamfoni ano on December 7th 1941 the Japanese military launched a surprise attack on the US naval base at Pearl Harbor. The attack killed 2,403 service members and wounded 1,178 more and sank or destroyed 6 US ships. They also destroyed 169 US naval and army air corps plane. Minja mama fan to asukra.
That's what is that. Ebe mu. Iti eba ye no. Se video ti ya. Say America for atna ho ma de nema for masi. Yes say the for masi. Omo ya we. Omo kwa na ko gigi China for or Japanese for. Emo mbe na say omo person mba entokwa no. We do. Omo nya kwan me. And the only way to Ginga Mona, Timama, Buff, no other to the canning, Yabema, Yabe. And your man named her and answer they had a nap and a power of us. If they see dear Yana, President Roosevelt, or call Congress, or they make a boon now, Kasai. The Japanese were and a free economy, they declare war. On that empire. Second video. Yeah, second video. America declares war on Japan. There is a more attack and America so could declare war on Japan. And then your second video. It is a crowd. Opening Jatu my.
The House of Representatives. Yesterday, December 7th. 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan. The United States was at peace with that nation, and at the solicitation of Japan, was still in conversation with its government and its emperor, looking toward the maintenance of peace in the Pacific. The attack yesterday on the Hawaiian Islands has caused severe damage to American naval and military forces. I regret to tell you that very many American lives have been lost. In addition, American ships have been reported torpedoed on the high seas between San Francisco and Honolulu. As Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy, I have directed that all measures be taken for our defense, but always will our whole nation remember the character of the onslaught against us. No matter how long it may take us to overcome this premeditated invasion, the American people in their righteous might will win through to absolute victory. I interpret the will of the Congress and of the people when I assert that we will not only defend ourselves to the uttermost, but will make it very certain that this form of treachery shall never again endanger us. Hostilities exist. There is no blinking at the fact that our people, our territory, and our interests are in grave danger. With confidence in our armed forces, with the unbounding determination of our people, we will gain the inevitable triumph. So help us God. I ask that the Congress declare that since the unprovoked and dastardly attack by Japan on Sunday, December 7th, 1941, a state of war has existed between the United States and the Japanese Empire.
Abusia, kasamfoni a yehwe sana yeka say America declare war on Japan. President Roosevelt will declare war say omo ko Japan so esan say surprise attack na the ma omo no. It we share speech o making ni na no a casualties a America for ko mu how omo properties are assay during that attack from Japan and I will give you the address to that. Enti hono mu no a I said sharing ne promises na ekoso no and I declare war say and the Japan most mu wait na mu be hu the eba. Enti ofa baba
yo enti ye to aso no ye ko ba ni say ye nya ni say Roosevelt oba office 1933
okay
ono nkwa so ne American president wako more than 2 terms
really
1933 until April 1945 and free nti ono kwa Japan for attack ye ba no we hunu bi
okay
sabe no refer asasi so ama Harry Truman and ababe president ono babe to aso edi de oye Japan no oye won na de ero mu 1939 and President Roosevelt enya tip of B every Albert Einstein ho say omu kra nya ntie say Nazi Germany womu Satan womu ye hihye niema so mpeso womu ye nuclear weapon enti womu tibi dia say German for no America for na ekun they are not allies or me enemies enti say trawa momu no aye atomic bomb dia ene enso say ye bi enti anunti 1939 no tie no ene o set up ono ni committee so omu hwem ne enhwe say betimi anya bibi papa ye fi mo me etimi anya nuclear weapon bi ana say by 1944 and omu assemble 6,000 scientists any engineers from the leading universities in America any industrial research labs in America the mumi hwehwem yentimi nye the sabos na Japanese we so abeto twadikani and oma briekuru yes we declare war and the evenya free mu no ebetimi di akwa kan omu so the idea of nuclear hidden by and the only way under the secret your friend saying code be around friend the Manhattan project
okay
say almost 30 years kutu yeah any jina and one to call test here New Mexico honum and into video no and one be history no me keka and yema and we sit down at the end me ye ni na me the time and it is video no ho na be chiri mu amamia why not
okay
the encounter third video
okay your third video here the Manhattan project the Manhattan project that is the third video yebeshe the Manhattan project that is the third video yebeshe okay say ayekradra
The Manhattan Project. Even before the outbreak of war in 1939, a group of American scientists, many of them refugees from fascist regimes in Europe, became concerned with nuclear weapons research being conducted in Nazi Germany. In 1940, the US government began funding its own atomic weapons development program, which came under the joint responsibility of the Office of Scientific Research and Development and the War Department after the US entry into World War II. The US Army Corps of Engineers was tasked with spearheading the construction of the vast facilities necessary for the top-secret program, codenamed their Manhattan Project, for the Engineering Corps Manhattan District. Over the next several years, the program's scientists worked on producing the key materials for nuclear fission, uranium-235 and plutonium-239. They sent them to Los Alamos, New Mexico, where a team led by J. Robert Oppenheimer worked to turn these materials into a workable atomic bomb. Early on the morning of July 16, 1945, the Manhattan Project held its first successful test of an atomic device, a plutonium bomb, at the Trinity test site at Alamogordo, New Mexico. No surrender for the Japanese. By the time of the Trinity test, the Allied powers had already defeated Germany and Europe. Japan, however, vowed to fight to the bitter end in the Pacific, despite clear indications, as early as 1944, that they had little chance of winning. In fact, between mid-April 1945, when President Harry Truman took office, and mid-July, Japanese forces inflicted Allied casualties totaling nearly half those suffered in 3 full years of war in the Pacific, proving that Japan had become even more deadly when faced with defeat. In late July, Japan's militarist government rejected the Allied demand for surrender put forth in the Potsdam Declaration, which threatened the Japanese with prompt and utter destruction if they refused. General Douglas MacArthur and other top military commanders favored continuing the conventional bombing of Japan already in effect and following up with a massive invasion, codenamed Operation Downfall. They advised Truman that such an invasion would result in US casualties of up to 1 million. In order to avoid such a high casualty rate, Truman decided over the moral reservations of Secretary of War Henry Stimson, General Dwight Eisenhower and a number of the Manhattan Project scientists to use the atomic bomb in the hopes of bringing the war to a quick end. Proponents of the A-bomb, such as James Burns, Truman's Secretary of State, believed that its devastating power would not only end the war, but also put the US in a dominant position to determine the course of the post-war world.
The Manhattan Project. Osha, nyama edi ehi paa no sojafoɔ anaasɛ asraafoɔ plan ɔmo plan ɛfa nyama bebree bombs, atomic bombs ne nyama sɛnɛ wɔfa kan sɛ they are planned to use these atomic bombs or whatever bombs to go to war. Sɛnɛ America ɛhyɛ aseɛ sɛ ɔmo declare war yi deɛ let me say they are trying to have a hold of other military bombs or whatever ammunitions. It will share video here here. It's all about talking about say bomb be so scientists be a year way to bomb baby a whole lot of things. It's about chemical bombing and nyama bebree. Na me mpese me kire mu se na be a we say be a ade no eluku so odd, but me pese wo fa e ma wo ti ase video no senti kura sa video ni e hwe because ono no betumi a kire wase yi wo fa
that's it. Enti Manhattan project no ɛhɔ na wɔn assemble scientists ne researchers wɔn kɔyɛ 1944 by 1945 na wɔn akɔdi to no wɔn akɔyɛ test ɛwɔ New Mexico hɔ ahun sɛ bɛyɛ adwuma
bɔmbu no bɛyɛ adwuma
wei na May 1945 Allied forces ɛyɛ Britain US ne Russia no wɔn defeat Germany nanso wɔn defeat wɔn no na Japan ne wɔn ntɔkwa no deɛ na ɛkɔ so nti August ɛna obinom ka kyerɛ Japan foɔ sɛ sɛnea ayɛ no muntumi yɛ o mo surrender ɔmo nya ntɔkwa no ya Japan foɔ nso sɛ ɛhe ne ha yɛnim deɛ frɛ no surrendering yɛne mo de bɛyɛ twem so ama akyɛ nti obinom ka sɛ bɛyɛ a nka America invade Japan sɛdeɛ ɛretumi afɔ so ɔmo ama ɔmo agyae deɛ ɔmo yɛ no ɔmo surrender ɛna military advisers to President Truman ɛka sɛ ɛno deɛ nyɛ koraa ɛde heavy casualties ɛbɛba both sides American young soldiers no bɛwuwu ɛne nneɛma nti nkɛ bɛyɛ a ɛna yɛtumi ayɛ bomb yi deɛ kenko nyantoɔ na gana na ɛno na bɛwie biribiara nti Harry Truman ayɛ sɛ yɛmoka no nso yɛ o ɛbɛfɛ no nti wɔn faeɛ no na kyerɛ sɛ Manhattan project na ma wɔn ayɛ 2 bombs the 2 bombs no ebiara wɔ din na mɛpɛ sɛ yɛbɛkɔ akɔhwɛ pictures no edin no mfɛ sɛ mmoa mo kenkan na mmoa muhu
Hiroshima bomb little boy nickname for President Roosevelt yani sɛ bombs mmienu na ɔmo yɛɛ no baako wɔn de uranium ɛna yɛɛ wɔn frɛ no sɛ bomb no din de little boy na little boy no na yɛ nickname for President Roosevelt ɔno no yɛ atea ɛna second one no de ɔmo kɔ blasting no wɔ Nagasaki no na ɔmo frɛ no Fat Man no nso yɛ nickname for British Prime Minister Winston Churchill because no ɔmo yɛ allies it is ɛyɛ wɔ ɛna ɛde akɔstɔpo Japan deɛ a yɛnya bomb bi anaasɛ biribi a ɛde bɛkaa yɛn yɛhu sɛ wei yɛkɔto wɔ Hiroshima yɛfrɛ no little boy a na yɛ nickname yɛhwɛ picture no picture no Hiroshima bomb little boy nicknamed by President Roosevelt and then your second picture I bet you I crowd and patcho for 2 of my okay
we video
okay
nti video no your friend say boy no
little boy
when a nickname of President Roosevelt when we got to Hiroshima
okay
the uranium and South America one of the deadliest and which and the other one
here Nagasaki that bomb Nagasaki bomb Fat Man nickname for British Prime Minister
okay
and
the bombs were and America for Jaigu Japan did the buy video no
okay that's a video no Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombing any video I be share it is aye kadwa yemfa video no ntaso.
On August 6, 1945, during World War II, 1939-45, an American B-29 bomber dropped the world's first deployed atomic bomb over the Japanese city of Hiroshima. The explosion immediately killed an estimated 80,000 people. Tens of thousands more would later die of radiation exposure. 3 days later, a second B-29 dropped another A-bomb on Nagasaki, killing an estimated 40,000 people. Japan's Emperor Hirohito announced his country's unconditional surrender in World War II in a radio address on August 15, citing the devastating power of a new and most cruel bomb. Little Boy and Fat Man are dropped. Hiroshima, a manufacturing center of some 350,000 people located about 500 miles from Tokyo, was selected as the first target. After arriving at the US base on the Pacific island of Tinian, the more than 9,000-pound uranium-235 bomb was loaded, aboard a modified B-29 bomber christened Enola Gay, after the mother of its pilot, Colonel Paul Tibbets. The plane dropped the bomb, known as Little Boy, by parachute at 8:15 in the morning, and it exploded 2,000 feet above Hiroshima in a blast equal to 1215,000 tons of TNT, destroying 5 square miles of the city. Hiroshima's devastation failed to elicit immediate Japanese surrender, however, and on August 9 Major Charles Sweeney flew another B-29 bomber, Boxcar, from Tinian. Thick clouds over the primary target, the city of Kokura, drove Sweeney to a secondary target, Nagasaki, where the plutonium bomb Fat Man was dropped at 11:02 that morning. More powerful than the one used at Hiroshima, the bomb weighed nearly 10,000 pounds and was built to produce a 22-kiloton blast. The topography of Nagasaki, which was nestled in narrow valleys between mountains, reduced the bomb's effect, limiting the destruction to 2.6 square miles. Aftermath of the bombing. At noon on August 15, 1945, Japanese time, Emperor Hirohito announced his country's surrender in a radio broadcast. The news spread quickly, and Victory in Japan or VJ Day celebrations broke out across the United States and other allied nations. The formal surrender agreement was signed on September 2 aboard the U.S. battleship Missouri, anchored in Tokyo Bay. Because of the extent of the devastation and chaos, including the fact that much of the two cities' infrastructure was wiped out, exact death tolls from the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki remain unknown. However, it's estimated roughly 70,000 to 135,000 people died in Hiroshima and 60,000 to 80,000 people died in Nagasaki, both from acute exposure to the blasts and from long-term side effects of radiation.
Kasamfoni e kwahwe yi Fat Man and a Little Boy dwumedi omedi no Hiroshima and Nagasaki bomb no ohwa over 10,000 plus na enye easy sa enye easy ohwa total buy ya e be 22,000 e be 1,100 saying 129,000 bomb ba coupe na ever say bomb ye who estimate ever say aha achimota ever say achimota na to Accra 5 square sa 4 na bomb ba coupe nti die mpa na ebe se niam papa ebe se niam nti bomb no nti say country we so say mo nikura na ebia obia expect wo de a you imagine those days in Ukraine, so time no dey bomb no and that you advancing in technology and the Oman Ukraine sing cry you baby ebeko over
Pati. Na you said that the videos we na tell say way back in the 20th century and Asia for years say and then there ye ni ati ye ntra ho mamu mehu na ye western civilization no ye mpre man fa metna yes Japan for hwe ase no and China for nso buy to buy no ubeka ya President Trump time and almost started the friend US versus China trade war.
Okay.
Now about tariffs. And you always say, I'm not to me say, China for sorry, say, Yampini. A do baby crown, China for no more associates, Russia for, I thought I no more jagging. No, I want ya atamfu. If you want atamfu, adofu, so no more relationship. And also about the same. And Vietnam, 1960s. America for Korea de ntokwa eko to a wo mo ho edu ba bia ye de no e no start so on be weaponize border a wo mo de silver iodide e de ema monsoon rains no kokko na nyinche senia originally no na nkensuo no eto a edu ba bia na ate no senia on benya kwan e be create ateche no mo timi diviti Vietcong for no ni nyina e chi no ankosi aga ewi ase no ehon so casualties be by both as America for lose about 50-something thousand soldiers and Vietcong for ne Vietnamese for ne omo aka no so ne millions nyina wi America we nyina no wo mo we ni war entina kira say the people say no we have come of age entina scripture can say one should be raising 200 million man army e di aba no let's say almost will grow to play in the end times. And unti and a scripture no me ahu ni ate ase say kan Revelation na wen kan me de emfa to ho na ya kan Revelation 16:12 ni nyina kan about Euphrates nsuo no senia more angels no betimi aye na ya raise army and the ecosystem 12 the same Euphrates so a bed dry up senior soldier for no benya kwan afam no mo so aba baby a battleground no ebe ko yanka ya ta be tira mi be say na ka dira e di wonu nyina wo ho no a e twen say e yan shisere a ebe ban sana ahenie na ebe declare ma wiase nyina ehu say obo ade ahimie no okan ye na fe na apa na nsa na beba no me si etuo bia ya ye wo ba bia say ya atomic bomb say ye neutron bomb say ye grenade say ye AK-47 ye betu ni nyina ama bibia asa when China 1965 article bi ba Time magazine e ba ye no na China for ya no mene America for yi ene ma sabe ne from Red China in the Time magazine ni 21st May 1965
okay
enyi ana China for say ye ntra ma me hu ayen na ya kwa ye 200 million man militia
yes
say okay
say agba no
and you know who say 65 na say China for kan we ya na say so mum say prophecy no bibi wo say near Revelation you can say there will be a 200 million man army from the Orient as a China for 65 e kan we any over kan e kakre ya
okay
Time magazine
first mamembo everything can say ya muslim ka okay Time magazine and yeah 21st May 1965 na efiada no real risks to back up low blasted Red China passed the word that is 200 million men and women militia had gone into serious training. The mainland press reported that units on the Yunnan border were engaged in intensive bayonet and machine gun drill. Men and women in blue boiler suits marched briskly through the Peking street with rifle slang.
Mo, the woman say, way back in 65, not China population, that's 715.19 million. That's our world population, that's 3,322 million, according to UN data. And one can say, one more 200 million man army no crowded. On the big so. And this region, one more, send a car, Russia more, and more editor say, one more population, a decline, one more crisis. And one more pobia, one more say, as I said, governors in the back, I can show more that back see why Russia, a man in Mema or Mawarino, one won't trap ye, no money or dog, send a man who been insane. Now, about Russia National Day, or Chediakis, yeah. Russia Day of Sick, the Tabunti. Anna, one more Eddie's hands is no buy. And you know, one more crisis on Sabaka, Russia more call Ukraine, and ye. One more can say, one more reservations will be. So minya omo esa recruiting ko bi no mo kokko boa e wo Ukraine to kwanu mu no e mema e ho nyina ato wirem because one dem kokko anim no go already mu population e ko bom na ba le sa mi abetatra ho samia enema nko se di a enye yi sansuna Asia generally no so Christiania region hosity no population no ekosro ewiase population be kosro nyina no ya na dodo no ano ifri your friend say gomienu China ni India wo bu na eja omtu na ekosro okay we dey over kan kakra man we your daily okay we your daily graphic Tuesday, July 12, 2002. Global population to hit 8 billion November. India to overtake China as most populous country. India for say November do near yakase we are population do 8 billion. India a bit sign China for normal baby the most populous country. Okay. The global population is expected to reach 8 billion on November 15. The United Nations has forecast with India set to overtake China as the world's most populous country next year. The UN noted on Monday it has taken hundreds of thousands of years for the world population to reach 1 billion and only 200 years to grow sevenfold. In 2011, it stood as 7 billion, while in the forecast by the UN Department of Economic and Social Affairs said the world population was growing at its slowest pace since 1950. It said the effect of the previous rapid growth would be felt for years to come. The dramatic growth had been driven largely by increasing numbers of people surviving to reproductive age. Yeah. You know, say Candia near Asia. Okay. The kings of the East. Raise 200 million man army. Now her population ya India for Krabi sign China for China already normal clock 1.3. Now we remove Babi San woman. It's between the two countries no crowd between average. Then over the largest army say we are here. And 9 every Asia. And 9 every Asia. And a back on America or no free West. And he said, yeah, now who yes, possible and plausible say Asia betting me average 200 million man army. You have video no. You show me na manu see na kwaku so.
Okay. Yeah. Last video you be share our Revelation prophecy ni mono. Were the kings of the east
of the 21st century
of the 200 million men army in the Revelation prophecy. Sana video no ne title here.
The world's armies have grown to a level never seen before in history. Out of a world population of 7.9 billion, 20.1 million men and women are engaged in military service. That's 0.25% of all the people in the world that are carrying arms. Each of the largest top 5 armies in the world has more than 1 million soldiers on active service. This is who they are. At number 5, the Armed Forces of the Russian Federation. With 1,014,000 active personnel, the Armed Forces of the Russian Federation rank number 5 on our list. The successor of the famous Red Army, the current Russian armed forces were established in 1992 after the dissolution of the Soviet Union. For years, the army had struggled to survive the economic transition brought on by the democratic changes in the country. The new Russian military inherited almost the entire arsenal from the Soviet period, which made the Russian army, even though the second most powerful, poorly equipped compared to its main rival, the United States. However, after the 2008 reform, the Russian armed forces have undergone a profound reorganization and modernization of their arsenal and equipment. In 2010, the Russian government allocated over $650 billion to procure new weapons and equipment for all the branches of their armed forces. As a result, the Russian military budget in 2021 was the 4th highest in the world, worth $61.7 billion. They comprise 3 main branches: the ground forces, the Navy, and the aerospace forces. Apart from these, there are 3 independent arms of service: the Airborne Army, Special Operations Forces, and the Strategic Rocket Forces. Despite the attempts to professionalize the active personnel, more than half of the Russian armed forces consist of conscripts. Conscription is obligatory for all Russian male citizens aged 18 to 27, with their term of service lasting 12 months. Although the Army lost its role as the global superpower after the collapse of the Soviet Union, it still holds the title for having the second most powerful force in the world, primarily thanks to its frightening arsenal of weapons and equipment. The Russian Army has the largest tank fleet in the world. Its ground forces are equipped with 12,420 tanks, mostly modernized T-72B3 B3M tanks, but also T-90Ms and T-80 BVMs, 30,122 armored fighting vehicles, including the BTR-82AM infantry fighting vehicles, 6,574 self-propelled artillery guns, 7,571 towed artillery guns, and 3,391 rocket projectors, mainly the BM-30 Smerch and BM-21 Grad systems. Russian air power consists of 4,173 aircraft, of which there are 772 fighters and 739 attack aircraft, accent given on modern types such as the Su-35S, Su-30SM, and Su-34. In addition to this, the air fleet also has 445 transport aircraft, 522 trainers, 32 special mission aircraft, 20 tankers, and 1,543 helicopters, which includes 544 attack helicopters. At sea, the Russian Navy deploys 1 aircraft carrier, the famous Admiral Kuznetsov, alongside 11 frigates, 15 destroyers, 86 corvettes, 49 mine layers, 59 patrol vessels, and 70 submarines, including the most modern Yesen-Yesen-M missile-armed nuclear-powered submarines. The crown of the Russian Armed Forces arsenal is its inventory of 6,257 nuclear warheads. Of that, 1,458 warheads are strategically deployed on ballistic missiles, and 4,497 are held in strategic reserve, making Russia one of the 2 leading nuclear powers in the world. At number 4, the Korean People's Army. With a mighty force of 1.2 million active personnel, North Korea is considered one of the biggest threats to international security by the United States and its allies. The nuclear outlaw, North Korea, has invested almost all of its resources into building a strong military to guard the north of the Korean peninsula from the capitalist invaders of the United States and South Korea. According to the country's constitution, national defense is the supreme duty and honor of citizens. Citizens shall defend the country and serve in the armed forces as required by law. Indeed, 36% of North Korean population comprises the manpower available for military service. Out of all the armed forces in the world, the Korean People's Army has the longest term of conscription, amounting to 10 years service. All males aged 14 are conscripted, starting their actual service at 17. Postponing their service is possible for those who continue their education, but only for a 3-year period. Females too are conscripted, although selectively. The ratio of men to women conscripts is 9-1. Children of the political elites are exempt from doing military service altogether. Even though it's one of the poorest countries in the world, North Korea allocates enormous funds into maintaining its armed forces. The military budget of $1.6 billion makes up a staggering 15.9% of the central government spending. Distributing this amount of money is necessary to keep the gigantic military machine functioning. The Korean People's Army has 5 service branches: the Ground Force, the Naval Force, the Air and Anti-Air Force, the Special Operation Force, and the Strategic Rocket Force. They are equipped exclusively with Soviet and Chinese origin weapons and domestic production modifications. As a result, most of the weapons and equipment are obsolete. The ground forces are equipped with 5,895 tanks, mainly the old Soviet T-54s and 55s, T-62s, T-72s, and an unknown number of the new prototype M2020 tanks. The Army also possesses 4,114 armored vehicles, mostly Soviet BTR-60 PBs, 450 self-propelled artillery, 250 towed artillery, and 1,360 rocket projectors. For air combat, the North Koreans have 946 aircraft, comprised of 458 fighters, which are mainly obsolete Chinese copies of the Soviet MiG-17, MiG-19, and MiG-21, 114 attack aircraft, 1 transport, and 169 trainers. This also includes 204 helicopters, of which 20 are attack helicopters. Interestingly, the North Korean air fleet comprises 80 American MD-500 light helicopters illegally bought by circumventing U.S. export controls. Their modest naval forces consist of 5 frigates, 35 submarines, 200 patrol vessels, and 10 mine layers. The true power of the Korean People's Army lies in its strategic rocket force, who are in charge of the military's nuclear and conventional strategic missiles. Even though it's unknown how many warheads the North Koreans actually have, it's estimated that they have produced fissile material for up to 50 warheads. Such an arsenal of nuclear weapons is enough to present a major deterrent. At number 2, the Indian Armed Forces. India is the second most populated country in the world, and accordingly has the second largest military, with 1,450,000 active personnel. It is, however, the fastest growing military, with 22,768,619 men reaching the age to serve in the military annually. The military was formed on the basis of the British Indian Army from the colonial period. After India gained its independence in 1947, the army was split between India and Pakistan. It gave birth to the Indian Armed Forces. Over the years, India has forged its military strength in several conflicts with the neighboring countries of Pakistan and China. Today, the military has 3 basic service branches: the Indian Army, the Indian Navy, and the Indian Air Force, which are supported by the Indian Coast Guard and paramilitary organizations and various inter-service commands. Due to its large population of 1.3 billion people, India doesn't practice conscription, even though there's a provision for one in their constitution. The Indian Armed Forces is an all-volunteer force, gathering new recruits at recruitment rallies. All males aged between 17 and 21 may join the Army if they meet the health and physical criteria. Women are not actively recruited for the service, but they are allowed to serve as officers and combat pilots through the Short Service Commission. With its foreign activities, India has developed a strong relationship with almost all of the leading powers in the world. They've conducted joint military exercises with the United States, Russia, China, Japan, Brazil, and France. Similarly, India has established solid connections to procure weapons and equipment for its armed forces. As a result, they are one of the largest importers of defense equipment, most of this coming from Russia, the United States, France, and Israel. However, recently India has conducted a campaign to build its own domestic defense industry, and so reduced its dependence on foreign imports. One of its leading domestic products is the Arjun Mark I tank, which is the main battle tank in its fleet of 4,614 tanks. Most of the other tanks used are Russian T-90s and T-72s. Indian ground forces are equipped with 12,000 armored vehicles, mostly the BMP-2 2K, 100 self-propelled artillery, 3,311 towed artillery, and 1,338 rocket projectors, mostly Russian Smerch 9K-58 MBRLs. The air power of the Indian military includes 2,182 aircraft. 564 of these are fighter planes, the Sukhoi Su-30 Mk-1 being the primary fighter in the fleet. That also includes the French Dassault Mirage 2000 and the Indian HAL Tejas. In addition to this, there are 130 attack aircraft, 253 transport planes, 353 trainers, 71 special mission planes, 6 Ilyushin IL-78 tankers, and 805 helicopters, of which 37 are attack helicopters, mainly the Mi-25, Mi-35, and Indian HAL Rudra. The Indian Navy is among the top 10 navies in the world, with 295 vessels. India is one of the few countries with an aircraft carrier in its fleet, the INS Vikramaditya, a modified Russian Kiev-class ship, and another undergoing trials. The Indians also have 10 destroyers, 13 frigates, 22 corvettes, 128 patrol vessels, and 17 submarines, including the nuclear-powered attack submarine INS Chakra, leased from Russia. Being one of the nuclear powers, India is believed to have 156 warheads and has developed systems for launching nuclear weapons from the land, sea, and air. The nuclear weapon program is developed primarily as a deterrence strategy against neighboring Pakistan, India's main adversary. At number 1, the Chinese People's Liberation Army. The People's Liberation Army, or PLA, was founded in 1927 and took its present form in 1947 after the Chinese Communist Party took control of the country. For many years, it's had a massive but cumbersome and obsolete military force. However, in recent years, China has undertaken some serious efforts in modernizing its military, so that it has now become the largest military force globally, with the second highest budget and third strongest armed force in the world. As a result, the Chinese armed forces have expressed a clear indication that it intends on becoming a new superpower. The active personnel in the Chinese forces combined numbers 2 million servicemen. Military service is obligatory for all Chinese males from the age of 18. Teenagers are required to register with the Central Military Commission recruitment body. However, mandatory recruitment has been abandoned in China since 1949, as the armed forces have a sufficient number of volunteers to maintain the service. The Chinese armed forces consist of 5 branches: the ground force, the Navy, the Air Force, the Rocket Force, and the Strategic Support Force. In addition to this, the country's entire territory is divided into 5 theater commands that are responsible for the development of tactics and response to threats or crises. Like the rest of the country, the military is under the strict control of the Chinese Communist Party. The PLA even has its members in the national parliament. Being the backbone of the regime, the armed forces are granted a substantial military budget of $250.2 billion. Most of the budget is aimed at purchasing modern weapons and equipment to compete with the other leading military powers in the world. Apart from the procurement of weapons, the Chinese have invested a lot of effort and finances into developing new types of weapons, such as the laser device for tracking submarines at twice the depth than the most sophisticated sonars and magnetic detectors currently can. There are also programs in developing high-powered lasers, high-powered microwave weapons, particle beam weapons, and electromagnetic pulse weapons. A significant step in this direction was also the development of imagery satellites for military purposes. It should be noted that in 2019, China became only the third country to have sent a man into space using only its own technology. Over the years, the Chinese have managed to modernize their arsenal to a similar level to the most developed militaries in the world. The Chinese ground forces have in their armament 5,250 tanks, 35,000 armored vehicles, 4,120 self-propelled artillery guns, 1,734 artillery guns, and 3,160 rocket projectors. Almost the entire arsenal of weapons is the product of their domestic defense industry. This includes, among others, the ZTZ-96 and ZTZ-99 battle tanks, the ZBL-08, ZBD-04A, and the ZSL-92B infantry fighting vehicles, the PLZ-89 and PLZ-05 self-propelled tracked howitzers, and the PHL-8190 and PHL-03 multiple rocket launchers. For combat in the air, the Chinese military has a fleet of 3,285 aircraft. A significant part of this fleet comprises 1,200 fighter jets, 371 attack planes, and 912 combat helicopters. The most notable aircraft are the Chengdu J-10, the Shenyang J-11, Chinese version of the Su-27, and the Xi'an JH-7 jets. In addition to this, the non-combat fleet includes 286 transport planes, 399 trainers, 114 special mission aircraft, and 3 tankers. The Chinese Navy has total assets of 777 vessels, including 2 aircraft carriers, 1 helicopter carrier, 41 destroyers, 49 frigates, 70 corvettes, 79 submarines, of which 8 are nuclear and conventional ballistic submarines, 152 patrol vessels, and 36 mine layers. Like the other top 5 largest militaries in the world, China also possesses a nuclear arsenal. The number of warheads is top secret, but it's estimated at around 350, which makes them the 3rd most powerful nuclear force in the world. However, that number is likely to increase as China is determined to establish its place among the leading military forces in the world. These were the top 5 largest militaries in the world. Their active personnel make up 1/3 of the entire military personnel in the world. With such forces at their disposal, apart from North Korea, these are undoubtedly the powers that will shape the planet's future.
Abusia kasamfoni a yehwe ye enye se yebo dabi na mom the obade kan ye Revelation chapter 9 verse 13 to 16 you know say 200 million military ye be raise you know eno ena kasamfoni e ka kire wo hwe oman a omoye top omo military a Asiafo no kra omo raise sa 200 million military na say they know what exactly the prophecy no echo the Bible prophecy no say na esi iko no enti ye say ye ya kire wa bonhu bi star da bi na mo ye pese hu say the obo ade nsem obeka bia no ebem enti sa wo ya omo prepare ahead na me ne wo ye nim time ebeba no eno na sa kasafoni ka kire say enu na ebe shape wiase we e ka say bibi be shape wiase we ya ebe reset wiase we in way one way the other nim but obade pese wuhu na some of the messages that is coming no obi say ye den obi si kura say was start so dey ground so kwa kwhye obi mu kura no asori kan ka chere say sa time du a obe furu akutudua na sa bomb we a ye bobo ni din fat man and then the other form square meter kura kita kura no akutudua ufu kura obe tete say bibi. There's no way to hide. obo ade pese ni wiase na mo asɛn ne no odi kwan bi befa so no mo ankasa no mo aye na mo abuild ni wiase ne back. So the animated videos na dey kire wo no enye to scare you and I say ye boom. Rather we are telling you say these are the consequences that we are doing okosroba form it is coming. When it is doing and when it is coming it is doing ba na eyo. Nti what you are seeing and that is the whole explanation I can give it to you. Mami ko for na me koje nu samwa owo man bi. Wofa
what can you na nyina ne say emra Russia for ne Ukraine for start say omo ye de omo yi nipa bibiri na third world say anka ne sa third world na nye Ukraine ni Russia na de beba. You see the king of the south and the Bekwa attack the king of the north. Now Ukraine, Russia, they say 2 kings of the south. Anybody, yeah. Now, Iran and the Bekwa attack Europe. That will be Abba. Meaning for I mean for 1 minute. A mammo timetable. They will be watching out for. A day near who ahoboabo na de beba enyina. Dey kan European Union and say ati o mun kan che. Ayati say association bi o ho ni ho. Wo mun ni leader bia. Enti de o mun be ni say won di tumi e be ma pope. Won wa ba be the leader of the European Union. Onyaji enu bia no Revelation 17. Ko kan 12 on mu ko e wo ho. Won di mani wie no be header. And no also obey the global leadership no ho. And they say no ensia. They can say pope neighbor one be bua. One the man no ba leader. But obedi European Union ni. Ona Iran for so beto wo mo to pae no. Na the name aba. No nya kwan de si Middle East because obey yam Iran ni na allies no. No waba Middle East. Waba ba Jerusalem. E horo and the scripture can say about the other one 42 months now or the about the D we are season sa and she says so and the beba and sana the baby are saying about the other can say oh mahini number more Christopher say more resources will be free rubber and he is already no e was so and the no holding a soldier for I would do na and we together. Yeah, and cause say ahini no. Na ho no mbeti o mpegi. Enti briefly, this is the salient points are medeba. Kwaku be kasa. Enti no yenhwe enema yi. Efiri na ekono. Na afiaso ekohyi afifoforo no. Ebeduru ba bi na mo to afi no ho so onye. Munim de ebenti. Emunimu a kama jeja sa nyema ni nyina. Kwa kumidima nwesi ya ofofoku da kwase ade na nwesi na won ye ode ama wono na wa tena se na dwen ho se sa wo si afia so a afine bedu mbiri be ga sa afine kro nye na so nye de a endi afine awudi no dai sa afine ni mini bi a meaningless afi bebe ya bi here for ye be ko for Israel the bar before say be ko ho no ma me read message bi na one commercial break bi na ye mbra kesi a na messages aba no ena de ye ditwo mankasa obi say I say good afternoon Hebrew teachers. In fact, I've missed you. You went for long, but you are back with a greater fire. I know of Israel is prepared to give us this brain fire. Thank you from Konongo, and Boating, and also the Odiba. I see, Freedom Man, dear Freedom Man movement has been following you for 4 years now, but I've been enlightened, so I'm confused also. What should I do to clear my mind? Also, dear no. It me read this message ya no. Now, a benya segment we are making can be a message amano because we need to rush through one or two things. Be it's here call one commercial break. Abesi siya. Mbacho enko baby. Abesi siya.
Wow, empenifo say nia ofuru duapa no na ye piano ampa enu nti na make am for Israel Consult e dia ma ani Israel Consult e ye dwumeku a omu ye bibia bi de di kan Israel Consult say men kan che say wo ye obi a wo pese ye ba be si wo dan ne ma se na be ya wo betu abetini mu a enu de wudi weni kire Israel Consult on betini esi dan e dan ne de size a wo pani bia ene ekwan a wo pese esi dan ne bia no Israel Consult e betini asoto out saranso na enye no nkwa Israel Consult say ensase de eba no enkramu primantem ha omo ye tatashe enu nti no wo enkramu primantem ha a wo pass ase de wudi weni kire Israel Consult a ya de a wo mo be soto out se na be ya enkran ha de ensase a wo panyina no Israel Consult e na betimi edi weni ache enye no nkwa eba ne books ahoduo bia wo pese ye Bible say ye bibia book bia wo pe bia no wudi weni kire Israel Consult so a ombetimi asoto out enye books ahoduo nyina no na wonim say Wake Up Africa Jumedi no kra no books ahoduo mu yusu nyina Israel Consult pe e na wo betimi enye afi ane hyene so enye no nkwa Israel Consult ase akwakofa eye quantum pendant e dia ba sa quantum pendant e ba beboa ende mu amu ye adwuma e wo ifidi dwuma mu no ende wo de ade tu komu a e ba beboa se na e be ya sa radiation entimi enko woni pedie no enu ntina wakwakofa eye sa quantum pendant e dia ba e ba beboa ho ban e dia fi radiation ho si e ka radiation asemi de wonim se wase akwakofa eye radiation protector e dia ba o se wo a wo use wo phone esan se phone no eye radiation e wo mu pi ni ntino o se wo kofa radiation protector e de telephone e tia e ba beboa se na e be ya radiation entimi enko ni pedie ne enko kofa ohawo embrel sa zo na Israel Consult akwakofa eye 8B tester e dia ba o se wo so wo hia no enu ntini ensu a wo benom no o se bobodin a test hwe na hwe se eye kroji anase enye kroji enu ntina wa babodin akwakofa eye 8B tester ya ba enu so e ba beboa na agi akejire mu se na e be ya yensu nom de ebetimi akotote sa zo na Israel Consult de wase akwakofa eye Dictos foot patch e dia ba enu so e ba beboa o se esan se ye mogya no edi efurusane na ni nyina nso e wo ye na ase ntino wakwakofa eye Dictos foot patch ya ba enu no tale wo na ase a etimi mogya ni di efurusane e wo woni pedie no se na be ya wo nso ubetimi edi mu yie enu nti na me kanfo eye Israel Consult e de ama na enye no nko awo wase akwakofa eye quantum beauty spray e de aba sa quantum beauty spray de eye dutwem kra esan se enu ne de eye nsuo kekeo e na edi egu sa quantum mu enu nti no obobodin a utumi enum bi utumi display wo shoe utumi e display wo num ene wo a emponu enum kankan e wo num wo display mu a e betenete sa quantum beauty spray eye niema bebre woduane mpo na ase na wo be spray bi egusu a e betimi atie duane no wan e ma wotimi
Siboni wa matia sai Okroto wa matia sai Amuna oba ye krum se oba betray ya mesu Eche no to nipa eche no ti asase akwanu mana dia sabu akwanu mana dia sabu akwanu mana dia sabu
ya bre na ya san aba back na bebia ye kanu se bebia ye be die ye be ko ofa Israel chen na de ho no or the amai to see no of Israel again Israel and Kroma because I'm warning before. So today I'm not going to call him over Israel. It's Israel and Kroma. But the other part on the bomb share boom. But they friend say Mr. Bomb or the Bemau na the Ohubiano. The segment if you are now for the reading messages now call sections now for the who say in fact you're also part of the program. I'm sorry that the network is keep on blinking and other sort. It's just a technical inches. You better back. Over Israel.
Markia. That's it.
I can't
say Israel of Israel uncle so
I can't many then. I can't
offer ama e ho adwure say we are seeing tin ye dey come chia opare
okay
offer parafa nyansane anka ho a on te ase opare nyansane on kobi amwo ashama branch le sarutum tere mayemre opare mayemre majibedi on kobi the iron man is about faso na meda reps nyinaa ase na mada mama Africa approve bi sɛ ɔyɛ ɔbaa nti maame mama Africa 1 na wɔsɛ bebree ɛne contribution a contribute yɛ na mada all the movement for nyinaa ase ɔfa asɛ na wahyɛ nkɔmɔ wɔsɛ monhwɛ deɛ ɛba ɛnyɛ sɛ mobɛka sɛ yɛwura new year mu nti no afe no bɛyɛ dɛ sɛ ɛwɔ Michael ɛbɛ biom nkɔpɔ de ahoɔden ama yɛn ɛbɛ biom na deɛ ɔfa eyi no Michael akɔyɛ sɛ biribi ba na akristofoɔ adena biara masɛ mmɔbɔ ɔmafa this day no wake up sɛ ɛyɛ nokorɛ yɛwura new year mu new year yɛn wura mu new year Bible na ɔmo de picture asɔ dɛm ɔno no Bible bɛkyerɛ sɛ new year no yɛn wura mu hɛn na yɛbɛwura new year mu yɛbɛ na nso ɛhɔ na yɛbɛhyia na panin no akyerɛ mo deɛ ɛba asafo ebi kuta nkɔnhyɛ ɛwɔ buku mu ɛna afi wei sei mbɛdɛ paa etuo wei mbɛdɛ safo etuo wei obi kɔ gya sɛ dɛm a ɔbɔ ebehim nse ne kyepɛ twam etwa ne tiri mu etwa ne tiri mu onim deɛ aba akristofoɔ nim deɛ aba ɔmo awerɛho etwa ne tiri mu Mr. Bob ɛyɛ no ne yɛsɛ nipa 9 million alusu ɔmo chip ɛne ɔyɛsɛ dɛ mo na ɔbɔ nipa ebehim nso ochip twam
Daily Graphic Wednesday November 30th, 2002. And at the buy, see over 9 million subscribers to lose SIM card by December 1st. Ominako.
I saw the money more. Chip your twam. And fire on the eba. And fire on because chip your twam ha na dibiano the couple say we were a shepherd who speak the truth.
Okay.
So when you penny a dwe when you a Christopher or my brother by a papa na couple boy new year no it be prove actually woman. The woman say papa no spring a fear pa oh Jane mode whole Ghana no change the baba. Okay, energy no ye energy mu. Sabe ye kwalo ye ni energy mu. Omo tse ni ye. Aso asafo ka che aso de mu nyina ye hodo brother sam ye tro. Ye ni energy mu. Ke label ekoso water ekoso bibia e basa look at the ammunition sa Asia for no omo prepare. Now we say afu mbe da ma suffer there be 2 afu so gayism be rise pa enemy afu so gayism entina asafu no ka che mo say be ba muso say who we are true for.
To confirm, Daily Graphic Thursday December 1st 2002 US Senate passed same-sex marriage bill. The U.S. Senate has, okay, Minkai has said, well,
baby.
Yeah. Okay, the bill, however, does not set a national requirement that all states must legalize same-sex marriage.
Okay, and then Papa can na. No, school never so no. And now, I didn't number Google Aquamu. Bois, Memon there be
7th.
Yeah. But now, screen board more, no genuine one more. Them say, yeah, Papa no, I share them idea. Or change the ever this is for the default, I don't here. Or much share the eba. You want more see it too. So, I saw the one man, suffer no, share book no and come say a treasure book nada and come say a treasure book that say yourself afu say ebeye afu say obla for woman no boko onim afu botoka afu be say no mo so ma giadi enema ewiase de bu akwan mu ene ye yikire wo nka say obiri nko pon bu a school no obi atuma baby me menda na pa be 10 years start ho na bo hu say enwuma ewo obi adwene ma ode manama Marie, the BBS. Shalom.
Sana wa Israel ka say Sadano on the 7th. Hona wa faso be kire say New Year na a Christopher si o mewrem no. How kese pa no modeba. Na mom afia say ye ba be wura New Year na nkasem. Because obo de hihye mu no, de tie nyina ne say ye kase New Year Sabre no enye dry season say ya nyama mfuo ahyehyehyehye na ye New Year. Enemo bra instro start say to mfuo na ahyehye no efifi foforo no na ye New Year. I hope say most of the pastors they know the truth, but it's very hard for them so make no natural because mo na won ye na afuo a mo ye adwuma ma no a onye bididi. Nti so nya ka kire we say whatever we are teaching you, whatever we are giving to you is a false messenger. We're losing a capital our business. Imagine what is happening. And back studio the one things I'm very happy about it and say before so be free hakon now ukita informations ukita bibia in that order no the only thing I want you to understand is say we are not here to give you false informations. People think we are giving false information. But at the end of the day, whatever we've been saying in the long run, it is manifesting. It is manifesting. 2023, what I can say, a better thing, we read it over last month or 2 months ago. And the United Nations has started confirming it to say, and right there, 31st, what could you say? Excuse me to say, we are free home. I shall come there. They say, we are sitting there. Imagine the video we saw today. Imagine the video we saw today. It is very, very fascinating. But you and I are sitting and waiting for the second coming of Christ. Master, we are going to die like chicken. We have to renovate and change our mind because you're always going to lose. You are doing it there's a chance you are a baby what they are much interested is their business and money. I'm telling you today, you are the farm because every week you are programming from Monday to Saturday and Sundays work on that. Every day be every blessed day. I'm telling you, sir, Free the Mind Movement have initiated a very important class on the 7th of January. Revelations. Come and listen to the interpretation of the Bible. Come and listen to how things is going in the Bible. Don't be sitting in the church and listen to this false information. I can testify to you, sir, some of the pastors know the truth. How much more you? I'm saying so in that order, no, I want you to know, say, hey, Free the Mind Movement are on path. Because you can't say Free the Mind Movement it's not something like you think, say, yeah, the full be, and I say, yeah, BB. Messages are may we do messages 1 or 2 be. Now, one who say I'm part media so also can be. I'm say call be aba. Patch of fair for baby or free with him, didn't Michael.
That's
the opinion case here.
What are Roma? Get the master much.
You.
Your family could be a champion because I feel
okay.
No, Mother Mamuchi, come on, me help many convince Chichi Yeshua and Jesus Christ in church. Now, Mr. Kambuchi, I'll woman on my certified. Also, I chair my department and one, Secretary Bibria, a waiting program and some more problem, waiting up one.
Papa, you bet me about on the 7th January 2023, a Saturday, Kaukudi, 37 military hospital, Nechi Branabeti is our information. Who is Jesus Christ and who is Yeshua? Bra, Nebeti. That is the only thing I met me a catch. Bra, just come. Ube who the truth, no. Saswa for an can of crew, and I want an can of crew, and you'll be who. But your next call about to be a free with him.
Okay, me feel become the family cooking team.
Yes.
I'm say meda offer. Opokudankwa on Israel as if I would my papa Mena Muniji.
Okay.
But no quarry the main now fancy Piocan in no quarry. But almost a biasi. So here, a year you sure on buying. And I'm not quite come with the buy and to know. The pump of Muslim cat. King Nippos or your papa or your day and different possibilities in the stuff I say. Or Moncoso. No money, Mapana, or more, you know. No more, you nip a bit more. Now, Papa Noir transfer from Musio. I'll be doing so now from Papa so more 80 exercise. It's me to put in your bonny name.
Okay.
Now, I am the mechanic, what do you call it? Afinoa, or Fakase, Afida. I used to phone in and I just hear work from my mobile. Leaving Crababo, Crabicum Cacrabi, you say a Etra, and a new year. Edinburgh, you're singing now. And we pump in the quarry. You shan't offer any Israel. Namission Brigade.
Namisu Shroud says, there will be any penny way. Yet I say, Namishrao, 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 Namishrao. Well, say good afternoon. I am seriously scared by what I've heard today. In fact, what should I do? Hey. Another call about the baby of free within Michael.
But me did the question, Emmanuel.
Okay, Pati and Quaja.
Hello.
Meet you, Weja, Meton Kappa.
Mammy Chiaofa, Mr. Israel.
Okay.
Because I was tap practice.
Okay.
Your boy of what was tap practice and tap practice to be. Mamma, Yama, Yamping, so I was there, I know what tap practice. You say, and what they were wire. And my general, you make now could be. I was so moi, now on Mamma Panama. What for the Munana? But I could never be piano at travel. Which Yami.
Bra, on the 7th, Bra, so there's a Hunwa. Bra, on the 7th, we'll be in life. Why?
May evangelist, I was tap practice that. They say, get this pushing. That is Mano Cosso. Yamin
Shira also. Now, what's for okay, text message you here by us. Greetings and kudos to you all, Hebrew teachers, for such a great enlightenment. This is Safo watching you live from Sefi. For Sukrom, keep up the good work and may Yah bless you. I'm going to call a Biaba so Pacho, baby, I'm free with you. Pacho from Michael. How's way? Hello?
Hello? Hello? You tell me, Commander, when you say that, I'm going to
you, a giant quay.
Pacho, you're a blessing, you are a magazine in one and the Mika.
Okay, Yati. You be about why? It be about. It has to be brave. We say greetings. Message ever be brave. I say good afternoon. I'm listening to you live from Western North region of Ghana, Sefi, Buedu. Yes, to be precise, I have advised myself from Christianity. I'm a teacher, Ofori, from Sefi. Advise yourself. What from maybe feeling with the hair?
Papa number.
Papa number. From backstage. Yeah, they don't know my bemo.
Yo, me pacho you are fatigue my wife.
Pacho mati me betu jama why?
Me that's it.
Yo. Enti sana me kan message here be ya. I see the world is in danger. But African is ignorant. Hey, Africa for just say I have found a way. Yesterday, I joined my fellow Hebrew in Akimoda for my first teaching. Hope to see these great men. I am Donko from Oda. Another caller, Bass, maybe I'm afraid you within Michael. Hello. Okay, a young quay.
I'm
Programming you can never say ya fan so.
But me allow our TV set.
Let me programming I will say ya fan so na say ma be kuma.
But you bet me allow our TV set hello.
But ne ana manya program ma sanya program me no. So 2019 mo. Internet na masanya program no. Na me mo number. So they are making me follow me all the time. They say the manyan mo life for me from RTV. Until the person in your number so making no drink down.
Okay.
Na Saturday na so baby program your program no so person no. So make me beg there something back.
Okay, Saturday on the 7th of December January mo fan chame 7th of January 2023. We the carton member boss amount. Na next call ambra. We the carton member amount. Yeah. Now we bisa say yeah, Obisa say Obesa who baby a class on the 7th January, Saturday way. Kaukudi, 37 military hospital at Chihuahua, Culture Center Hono. Na Oba Obet me afre normal way 05054464352 or Friday directions.
Hello.
Last call. Yes, hello. Hello, baby, I'm free for you. Medini Michael.
Your friend, Kwame, because every summer boy.
Okay.
Now, my mama told no, I follow my chapana. No, branch, maybe you are.
Yeah, the Tiama. Why?
Mamma, more than I'm met to be a follow my chapa. Me came with a man in a jar, sorry.
You yati. Tibiamo. Yo, na ye obisa normal yemfa papa no normal no ma me ni bisa 0244686557 0244686557 obetumi afre papa no a obisa no normal no enam de ato na baby ayedo no eye efa ye de college ni nyina no abawiye na me beda sponsors o mobo ayema jumedi ye de somo e de kwesi de bia no Israel Consort, Ozos Roofing, Nayemye Herbal Center, Mike A Collection, and Nico Multimedia, Omono Soya saying, I'm a Dijumedi, Esmo, Dakwisi Biano. And he said, and then Yamia Dum, Amende, the Heavenly Science, Abeya. The following week, you know, say Sansu Shebima, yet another blissful and wonderful and bombshell topic, and a best shell. Ebe siao sene ya osu be hu no kore enti mekọ wofa ho na makogena no sam etwa to na makọ wofa Israel ho na magena no sira fide na ye de ende dwumedi na aba into a closure wofa what last word
ye do bias
okay
ya resume
okay
ebe to ankomudi no so
okay
na ye kọ ye nim no hihie bebem obi anya
and that's one in be more yo wofa see ye kọ ye nim na hihie bebem Ija
Michael.
Yeah.
Yamfanye fanto adwum say the whole Ghana ye ma no. Sisterhood no. Omo nhyemkase pa wo Kumase. Omo nhyemkase pa Binsida. The whole Ghana ye ma no from sisterhood. Omo kwa hia o Kumase. Date na beba.
Okay.
Beba ntino bibiase.
Okay.
Next week remember. Mene the shepherd. Live.
Yo, some of Israel can next week remember on the shepherd live. Whole branch, you know, Madam Anika, on in charge. You bet me at 024332114888. 024332114888. Ufre Madam Anika, whole branch on no aso na wo. Ena ye be koso aka say yesremo ye pamucho say techimai kai ka say be ba na so bibi na siye ena man ye bo apayo nti ye po bibia cho say ye no yentumi amba ofo poku dan kwaso paucho of Israel so paucho mpenifo nyina se yesremo nti ye be catch us say feche enye bo apayo nti mpenifo mu ho mo organizers na so mo de kotose etum anim say enye say ndada na say scam bi na mo ye mo na mmom ye nipa yi de bibi tumi si na de esi no nti na ye paucho nti ye nyina yesremo say me ka say me ba ho no bibi na esi ye na ye ntumi amba nti po bibia cho awo techima ene ne manchire mu nyina no yesremo mo mfa nchen enye boapayo sa metumi asremo na mo de achen de a emrepam nu ebesa hyehyɛ da foforo na du ho a ebebo mu nyina amane na ne de eba ene de na edi team na nkasa ene eba ye beda ye sponsors nyina ase saa so na beda ye producer papa ediko edi kofi ediko ono tai chire bibia ekobia ono sponsor ye beda obibia so a de bia onya adagere anase kwesi de bia onya adagere tena de tigi echi ehwe ye me de Michael Asma me na me di dwumedi chame ende me da wasese ende so onya bre na woni atena obade ya domo a na wotwe te ende e be san hia mu biom se na ofa ma won say next week ayem hihie beba nti wo hwa na why da ho so keke me da se nyame nhira bye bye yes I